Hello. Today I'm going to give you the formula for having good communication, healthy and nonviolent communication. This is the foundation for improving all our relationships. I'll tell you all about it in today's session.
Hello. I don't know what's going on, but lately I feel like I can't talk to my partner without us ending up yelling at each other. We're always arguing. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Communication is the only way we can relate to others in a healthy way. Good communication is the foundation of a good relationship. All the relationships we have will always have ups and downs, but we can only resolve our differences by communicating in a healthy way.
And what happens when we can't talk without fighting anymore?
When communication stops, what comes next is aggression. And there are three fundamental points to achieve better communication. The first has to do with communicating without making value judgments about the other person.
And what would that look like?
For example, if I say to someone, "You're aggressive," that phrase will probably make the person feel angry or upset. And the response and communication we have from that point on will probably be very difficult because that person will be angry. On the other hand, if I say, "Look, honestly, what you're saying hurts me, I feel bad about those words, and the tone you use makes me anxious," the other person will likely be able to connect with their empathetic side and understand that what they're doing is affecting me. That's fundamental. When we speak, we should speak from our own perspective and not make value judgments about the other person or label them.
Oh, so it's like talking about what's happening to me, not about what the other person is doing wrong, about what I feel.
Exactly. The second important point is to take responsibility. Why? Because when you're communicating with someone and you say, for example, "I felt bad when you did such and such," and the other person responds, "No, I didn't do that," you end up feeling angry or upset because the other person isn't taking responsibility for what they did. And that causes a break in communication with the other person because how can I talk about something that bothered me if the other person says it never happened? So taking responsibility is very important for communication because if we don't take responsibility for what we say or do, it's very difficult to solve things or even to communicate since communication is instantly cut off.
Of course, that happens a lot because each person defends themselves instead of acknowledging something.
Exactly. The third point, which is truly important, has to do with understanding that all people are inherently different. And what might be very serious to me could seem deeply trivial to someone else because we have fundamentally different frames of reference, because we are diverse people who perceive the world in different ways, because we were nurtured by different people. We have different convictions. And that means that person sees the world one way and I conversely see it another. So, what often happens is that, faced with the same situation, something might seem trivial to me, but it could offend the other person, make them anxious, or provoke anger. And I need to understand that it's valid for them to feel that way because they are not me, and maybe that situation doesn't affect me in the slightest, but it does affect that person. And in order to have good communication, I have to accept that something might hurt the other person, even if it seems trivial to me. Because to have good communication, you need to validate the other person's emotions and feelings.
Oh, that's really hard for me. When something doesn't seem that serious to me, it's tough to understand that it could be so serious for someone else.
That's understandable, and that's why it's so important to keep these three factors in mind for good communication. First, communicate without making value judgments about the other person and always speak from your own perspective. Second, take responsibility. And third, understand that we all have different frames of reference, and not everyone is going to have the same opinion about everything, nor will things affect us all in the same way. Having empathy and understanding what is affecting the other person will help communication improve relationships.
Wow, that really gives me a lot to think about. I think I need to practice that with my partner.
Well, that's already a big step. Having more conscious and empathetic communication will undoubtedly improve our relationships.